Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look again at the Monotype challenge. We are around halfway through, I think, at this point of the series. And we are going to take a look today at the flying type Pokemon. I really want to get this series done as well, hopefully in the next few weeks. As most of the battles actually have already recorded. I think I still have to do like 4 or 5 types that I've left where I don't have the recordings yet. So I kind of want to still finish that one. I know, of course, I expected that this series doesn't have the like people watching compared to if I do like a legend teams and stuff like this, but I take the series, I take the season currently, not really that serious right now as well. I'm not legend yet. I'm just trying to play with funny teams like this one here, and I still don't take my time. And I also, even if I don't hit legend, it doesn't really bother me too much, but I just kind of want to take this a little bit chill because I don't like the season, personally. Like I said that before, I don't think that this is a good season. I think it's one of the worst seasons. Mainly for me, actually, because I am not forced to play other metas, which I usually enjoy to be doing, because there's great league available the entire time. For me, that is actually making my experience less nice, because I just like the other limited metas. And I know I always would have the option to play the limited metas, but nobody else is playing that, and then it's just not as nice. So I don't like the season, and so I like to do something like this where I don't really have to care too much about how many views they actually get the videos, because like it's just my hobby. Like I don't need to care about this anymore. Luckily, I just do it for fun, and I wanted to take a look at what is the best kind of monotype team. And flying, I had high hopes with. We already saw a loss in the beginning though, so like, maybe I was wrong with it, but as you saw in the beginning as well, flying type Pokemon are very highly ranked on PvPoke, but not only this, they also have quite versatile. We have basically a lot of different kind of types together with it. We have the Dragon type here, we have a Fire type as well, we have a Steel typing, we have also like something like ground in flying type Pokemon or to deal with those, electric type Pokemon with Gligar. Like there's so many different kind of Pokemon, so like you get a lot of Pokemon to choose from. For example, even like the Jumpluff that we are facing here right now. But I decided to go for this team because I thought that Altaria would be very good in the current meta. Corviknight is a fantastic Say-Stop that really has great synergy with the Altaria. And Altaria is also one of the Pokemon that I needed to have in order to deal with Electric-type Pokemon. And then again, Corviknight is here to bait out Electric-type Pokemon while still having super effective Fast Move pressure. And then Talonflame in the back is one of the better answers to other Fairy-type Pokemon that you may be going to encounter. And so, or like Steel-type Pokemon that you maybe don't want to face with your lead as well. So I thought this team has actually the best synergy out of all the Flying-type teams possible. But was I right with that is the other question. As we're going to see a Swanna against us, we are going to be able to go for the double fly. I, of course, can shield this move up here to knock them out. But I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do well against the Morpeko that's still lurking in the back. So, Talonflame gonna go for the fly, knocks them out. We can swap out of here, and we actually gonna go for the full farm down. And the Electric type gets knocked out by our Flying type team. As we're going to see here, we're going to have a Corsola against us. This is going to be interesting. Corsola is going to be a Pokemon that, just generally speaking, it's going to be neutral. It's going to be neutral, but we're going to have payback here. And so I don't really need to align myself, because while Corsola has good coverage against everything, Corsola is going to have access to the Power Gem. We are going to be able to take the hits here still the best, so I'm rather going to let the moves go through here. But maybe this was a mistake because I can't actually reach another payback, and so I'm actually quite happy that they went for a charge move here, as this is the better outcome for myself. I go back into the Altaria now, thinking about it. Maybe I should have went into my Talonflame, because this is not going to be enough to knock them out. I guess we are going to be forced now to go for another charge move, or we would have needed to use a shield. And as you will see here, we're going to get the KO, and there's a Calming in the back, and this is the thing as well. Against Rock-type Pokemon, this team still struggles quite significantly. And while you maybe thought that, okay, Gligar would have been great here then, like you always kind of have a hole in this team. Like there's always going to be something that doesn't work. For example, here again, it might not be as ideal against like the rock type Pokemon, but it's better against ice type Pokemon, for example, which are also like one of the major weaknesses of flying type Pokemon. And that was also one of the reasons why I was kind of forced to go for the Talonflame in the back, because I was just worried about the ice types. There are quite a few ice type Pokemon, and like fire is going to be super effective against it. So to be fair, most of the ice type Pokemon are ice and water, so maybe you could have even went for something different. But I need something that at least takes only neutral damage from the ice type fast move or Powder Snow, other than of course our Corviknight. And so, like, this is always kind of the trickiness of the series, and that's why I like the series a lot. It's just because you need to kind of be very much aware of what you want to build and how you want to build. So yeah, like, this is kind of the awkward thing about sometimes those teams here. There's always going to be something that you don't want to actually face. Here we're going to have Tinkerton against us now. They have a ton of energy, we have a ton of energy. I'm forced to let the move go through, hoping it's a bulldoze. It is absolutely not a bulldoze, and so we're going to lose yet another battle. To be fair, we kind of got hard-walled there at this point, so it is what it is. Oh, we're going to be able to now go ahead and go for a Sky Attack against the opponent. This is going to do some solid damage. And we're going to swap out into our Corviknight. Corviknight has actually a very solid matchup here, especially with a little bit of extra damage already on the opponent. We just can go for one payback, and this should either knock them out or come really, really close to the point that I can just farm them down. We're gonna get the shield though, which is interesting, as they're gonna go into the Ninetales. Ninetales is actually alright for this team, and that's why I should mostly just use a shield here and swap out, because I have two fantastic answers against this Pokemon, as we have here now the Altaria, where they actually have a 0 play against. And so I am not too sad about this one. We are going to be able to go for some nice damage against the opponent, and we are going to also now let the move go through, as the weather ball is doing nothing. And now we could go for a little bit of energy, but the opponent decides to swap out. But I'm not even too sad if my Altaria goes down, because even against the Ninetales, I still have my Talonflame. And so the opponent goes for their Body Slam. And now we can go, try to go for at least another charge move here, but they're gonna try to knock us out prior to that, which is alright. I have now an Air Cutter stored for this one. I think Air Cutter should be enough. And I still, of course, have my Talonflame for the Ninetales. That's very likely gonna come in next. But I was wrong. It's going to be Electrode, and that can be a bit more difficult unless they go for Wild Charge. Let's see what they're going to do. They go for Wild Charge, and with that, I am going to be able to force them to stop out. And now I'm alright with that, because I know there's nothing they can do against me here. I have enough energy to go for 2 charge moves, or go for 2 charge moves now against the Electrode, and they're just going to forfeit. And that's going to be a nice victory, as we will see here the Corsola yet again against us. Yeah, my ideal play here is to stay in for a little bit. I can go for Sky Attack first if I wanted to, but I kind of just mainly want to catch the move here onto the Corviknight, which doesn't work out here until they actually went for the move, so it wasn't really a catch, but I want to catch, of course, a Power Gem there, which is just a neutral hit, non-stab move that would be a bit better than the Nightshade here. But the Air Cutter is coming in here. The opponent actually didn't go for the shield, which I was very much surprised about, because we would have been able to knock them out most likely from this range. But at the end of the day, I can still go for another charge move, and it's very similar to what we saw prior already. As this time around they let the move go through though, and we have now the alignment, and this was needed because they have the Celio, but Celio has now a ton of energy advantage. And so this is why I have Talonflame. And this is why it's still kind of awkward, because it still doesn't mean that this is going to be a good matchup for myself. But there's no real better answer to those. Like, you can try to offensively counter them with something like Lucha, but if you're already energy down, you're still screwed. So, yeah, I just didn't really know what to do there. But at the end of the day, I get them kind of low enough that I will be able to farm them down with my Altaria. It just needs to be something in the back that I can deal with, which Tinkerton is not the case. Alrighty, we have Ninetales against us, horrible lead, the worst possible lead, but Jellicent swapping in here is actually not that bad, as we have payback and we give them a free fast move. That is even better. As now they're going to use a shield. I should mostly use a shield as well on the first one. It's going to be always a Shadow Ball, so like it's going to be the hardest hitting move that I have to shield here. And I can take another hit, so I can just let this move go through. And I can force yet another shield if I want to, and I kind of need to keep alignment, but also I kind of need to keep the shield, because Ninetales has access to Chilling Water, and that would knock out the Talonflame straight away. So I'm kind of going to be forced to let this move go here, as I need to keep my shield for the Talonflame in case I go up against the Ninetales. And so yeah, like, we are not really in the best position ever. But we can go for a Sky Attack here soon. The Shadow Ball, of course, going to do around half of our HP. And we are still trying to dance around the opponent's team, because, yeah, we have quite a few weaknesses as Flying-type Pokemon. And this is something that we definitely noticed now from this video as well. If I stayed in there, by the way, I would have been in such a better position. Like, I don't know why I do know why I stopped out of here. But I should have just stayed in, because now the opponent is going to be able to outspeed me. I didn't expect that they would not go into the Ninetales against our elite there, and so now this is going to be game over, because we would need to reach a Flamethrower in time, against the opponent, which we are absolutely never going to be able to do. So if I just stayed in against the opponent's Sableye, I would have guaranteed won the battle, by the way. Isn't that fantastic? But yeah, it's what it is. I can't really change it, can I? Anyway, more bad Pokemon for us to deal with, and this is the thing as well here, like, this is going to be not ranked as highly as I expected by quite a bit. Monotype, by the way, would have been a good shout for this team as well. And I do feel like I kind of got unfortunate matchups, generally speaking. Like, I do think that I kind of got some very unfortunate matchups that where I could have been a little bit more luckier. But it is what it is, and I honestly don't really mind it either. It's like a good showcase, though, on how versatile the team is as well. If they can deal with it, that's fantastic. If they can't, then that's problematic. And this team can't deal with it. This team just can't deal with a lot of things. And this is something I just really didn't expect. Like, honestly, I thought it would be like one of the best teams of the series. But like, again, like, this is the thing as well for the series. It kind of showcases on which types are good on its own. That doesn't mean that they're great for like team building, because for example we saw the fire type in the last video of this series, and the fire type completely went through everything, which I didn't expect, because usually fire type Pokemon are not the strongest in PvP, but apparently if you just run 3 of them, you just overpower opponents, which is kind of funny. But yeah, here we're gonna lose again to another water and ice type Pokemon, and we can move on to another water and ice type Pokemon. Yeah, like you see here the issue, like we encounter I think like 4 Celios now. Like, Celio is just the worst Pokemon to face for this team, in my opinion. Like, this was straight up the worst Pokemon to encounter. And we face it all the time, which is great. Like, this Pokemon is common in the meta. Like, I'm not saying that people can't run this Pokemon. But I don't think that you would usually face 4 of them in one set. Like, this is not like I don't say like something like algorithm or whatever. People were slow for that one. I'm not saying that. But it was just unlikely occurrence that we have that many in this 10 battles, basically. Like, this is kind of more what I want to say with that. Usually, if you would look at this over a longer period of time, you wouldn't encounter that. But then again, who is going to run a triple Monotype team anyway the entire time here? I don't think a lot of people would want to run this. So, like, I'm just trying to explain on how to run something that most likely nobody is actually ever going to run. But again, we're going to have the same issue as we're always going to have. Yeah, we're going to have here the Celio. Celio is going to be, yeah, basically the pain of this team. Like, it's going to be able to destroy the entire team again, as I am forced to use shields. I actually gonna let this move go through the entire time, because now I know they're going to have body slam start afterwards anyway. It doesn't really matter. And it is just going to be, yeah, it for this one. And we're going to go to the final one. We have a flying type Pokemon against us, Fearow. We could try to catch the move, which works out beautifully. Cornet can take those hits easily. But yeah, this is going to be alright. There's going to be Stuntress coming in, and this is going to be very, very bad again. Stuntress is one of those reasons as well where you kind of need to have Altaria. Yeah, of course, Gligo would be an alternative option, but you need one of those two, because you need to have something against those Pokemon for sure. As, yeah, we are going to be able to just let this move go. This is going to be Discharge. And we can go for a payback against the opponent, which is still going to do a lot of damage. So, like, actually, even though this was a bad matchup for ourselves, we were not in the worst positions there, as now we have the Altaria against them aligned as well. Flamethrower is going to be stored at this point, and the Discharge is not doing that much damage. But at this point, I think I can even go for Sky Attack and knock them out, as it's going to be a CMP tie that is absolutely not what I wanted to see. But it is what it is. It's not only going to be a little bit more damage onto Altaria, it's more so not going to be making that much of a difference, especially as the Sky Attack did knock them out, so it was actually the better play like this then. But Fearow comes in, and now I think I am in a bit of a difficult position, because we are, yeah, shields down, and Fearow knocks out Talonflame, so they swap out into the Ninetales. And they make a big mistake with that. Thank you for that, because now I can take those hits, and now the battle all of a sudden, which looked like it was lost because I didn't use their shield there as well, looks like I maybe have a chance at least of winning. I'm not too sure. We are gonna go up to 2 flies. I have 2 fly stores. We are at a 1 HP, which is fantastic, and we can knock them out here. And now it's going to be the Fearow. Can we farm them down with our Altaria? Altaria is up and straight away. Yes, we can. And we actually win the final battle. But as you can imagine, it was between C and B. But based on, I think, the wins, we are actually more qualifying for the B tier. But yeah, this is what it is. Hope you enjoyed it. See you then. Bye-bye.